What is going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the markets are a bit choppy today. We have the S&P at break even pretty much. Same with the Dow and the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell's barely green. It's up 0.1%, and it's funny because earlier in the day, we were seeing more green in the markets, and now we've been selling off the past 2-3 hours, more like hour, 2 hours. So we got to break down some charts, some stocks, my thoughts on the market. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, hit the like button, check out my Patreon as well, link down below, and let's get right into it. So let's look at SPY. Like I said, all across the board, now we're going more into the red, but earlier in the day, we were green. Look at this. SPY was actually up to about 440. That was at 10:15 a.m. on the East Coast, and that was pretty much the top for the day. 440, 440.20, and that is where we saw resistance not only at 10:20 a.m., but also when we retested it at about 11:40 a.m., just about an hour and a half ago, and since that point, we got rejected, and we've been selling off. Now we're trading well under 440. We're at 437.50. And by the looks of it, going back to that 20-day chart, number one, we got rejected at 440, which is very obvious. And number two, we're actually getting rejected. We got rejected at a lower high, meaning the downtrend could be continuing, right? And we've talked about how many times on the channel, many times, guys, you're probably tired of hearing it, but we've talked about how on the 4-hour, we're getting rejected right by that 180 moving average, which was resistance last week. Now it looks like it is again this week and back in the end of September, middle of September. So the fact that we're failing to break 440, we're failing under the 180 SMA, that is not a good sign whatsoever. But what is a good sign that I'm seeing within this overall downtrend, and I actually spotted this right before I started filming this video, I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulder. Look at this. We have the left shoulder, which formed in the end of September. We got the head right here, right around that triple bottom that we saw end of September, early October at about 426, 427. And now we have the right shoulder forming right above the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, and it's holding the neckline from the left shoulder in the inverse head and shoulder pattern, which was around 433, 434. So as long as we hold this neckline, as long as we maintain above 434, 435, maybe this inverse head and shoulder pans out. And if it does start panning out, guys, we start breaking above 440 into 445 plus, that would be a very good sign that A, it's panning out, and B, we'd be breaking out overall in the market. So watch out for SPY. I'm keeping a very close eye on it across the board in terms of the downtrend, the inverse head and shoulder. So watch out for that. And on top of SPY being very funky today, we're seeing a lot of stocks in general going up. We have SoFi up a ton, 13%, Mara's up 11%, Riot as well, as crypto is on its way back to all-time highs. At least Bitcoin is. Last time I checked, Bitcoin was at 57K. Coinbase is up 5%. GameStop's up 6%. So we have a lot of stocks moving up. And we're also seeing the Chinese stocks moving up, which I do want to talk a little bit more about in this video. So recently, as recent as literally today, Hong Kong stocks hit 4-week highs as Alibaba, Meituan soar on bets antitrust crackdown against big tech is ending. And on Friday, this is interesting here, guys. The China State Administration for Market Regulation, also known as SAMR, don't get that confused with, what's the other one? ASMR or some crap that's called, which that stuff's kind of weird to me. But yeah, don't get it confused with that. They said that Meituan abused its dominant position in the country's online food delivery market. The market regulator said Meituan pushed merchants to sign exclusive cooperation agreements with them and carried out punitive measures for those that didn't. The SAMR slapped a 3.44 billion yuan, or around a 530 million US dollar fine on Meituan and ordered it to carry out rectification measures concluding a months-long probe. And you may be thinking to yourself, oh, it's the Chinese Communist Party. They're throwing fines on companies yet again. They're regulating. They're slapping a ton of money in terms of fines on these companies. You may be thinking that, but the truth is, those stocks actually rallied on that news. Meituan rallied. A lot of the Chinese stocks on the Hong Kong exchange rallied, and now it's bleeding over to the U.S. markets. Alibaba, the U.S. listed shares and so forth. And the reason is because a lot of people think, at least this is what I've been reading, a lot of people think that the $530 million fine, even though that's a lot of money, guys, they think it's not that crazy, and maybe the CCP is cooling off a bit with all these antitrust fines, cracking down on these massive companies. So even though $530 million is a lot of money, again, people think it's not that extreme. So we saw that stock rally, and it's a sign that maybe the CCP, the craziness is going to come to an end, which I don't know. I doubt it, to be honest. I think this is only just a sigh of relief rally. In the meantime, we could get more pain ahead. Who the heck knows? But that's what people are thinking right now. And the Hang Seng Index reached the highest level since September 14th, about 4 weeks ago, recouping some of the U.S. $1 trillion sell-off since the end of May. And some other giants in China are going up. Tencent, JD, Baidu, Alibaba on the Hong Kong exchange was up nearly 8%. So these stocks are moving. Alibaba, let's see what it's looking like right now. It's currently up 2%, sitting at $165 per share. But earlier, it was up about 5% here in the U.S. markets, up to about $170 per share. And you guys can see it's been selling off a bit since then. If I show you the intraday chart, it was actually up to $172 a share. Now it's down $7 from that point, down about 4%. But overall, this is what the markets need in terms of the Chinese stocks. They need to understand, or not understand, but have confidence in the fact that the CCP is not going to regulate the crap out of the companies, fine them to the dirt, let them sort of operate under their control. And at that point, if that happens, slowly but surely, we get the pressure alleviated. I think the stocks could start seeing a rally. Maybe Alibaba goes back to 200. Maybe we get JD back over $90. Maybe we start getting Baidu to start moving. So yeah, at this point, Baba is breaking out of both moving averages, but it's not quite yet out of the high from the beginning of September at about 180. It's still trading well under $200. So I don't think it's out of the woods yet, but the fact that we are starting to reverse, it's definitely worth watching. Same here with JD.com, which is breaking out of the wedge. It's breaking out of both moving averages. It's currently down a little bit, but overall, it was up a good amount earlier in the day. It was up to almost 81 a share. Now it's at 78.50. So it was up a bit. This, I guess you can say, is just a little pullback within the breakout, profit taking, whatever you want to call it. But overall, I see JD with upside up to $84, $85, which was that high from the beginning of September. So keep your eyes on this breakout for JD, or on JD.com, and Alibaba for that matter. And Wynn Resort, WYNN. And full disclosure, I'm long Wynn Resort at $91. I'm long Alibaba at $180, which I'm down on both. Admittedly, I'm not scared to admit that because I think it's not going to last for long, especially with Wynn Resort. I think this one, I think it's way too beaten down. Same with Alibaba, but Alibaba does have more direct China exposure, which is why I think that one could be more volatile in the meantime. But don't get me wrong, Wynn has a lot of Chinese exposure as well. They have Macau out there, which is a huge resort, huge complex, whatever you want to call it. A lot of business goes through there, and there's a lot going on in China with gambling, with the licenses and so forth, which we're not going to get into in this video. I've already made a video in the past on that. But overall, Wynn Resort, I guess you can say, is seeing a bit of a rally as well, as the overall Chinese stocks are seeing a rally as well. And with Wynn having a lot of exposure there, it makes sense why they're rallying up. So Wynn's up 4%. up to almost $90 a share. It's about to test the main 180 moving average here at about $90 on this 4-hour chart. So I think if we start breaking 90.50, let's put it at 90.50, the alert. If we start getting out of there, we start breaking from the lows, early August, late August at about $89-90. You guys can see that was the bottom during that time period. If we start breaking out of these key levels, I have no doubt in my mind Wynn Resorts going back to $100, $110, $105 at least. I think that is where it's going, and I'm holding on to it. I'm not looking to sell, even though I was under the water for a little bit. It got down to 78, and I didn't average down. I just held on, which I probably should have averaged down. But at this point, guys, I'm just holding on. So keep your eyes out on these 3 stocks: JD, Alibaba, Wynn Resorts. Hey, there could be some upside movement here, upwards movement, more upwards movement in these next couple of days, next couple of weeks. So if you all found value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts down below, and check out my Patreon. If you guys want my real-time buys, sells, call-outs, morning update videos, private Discord access, plus more, literally everything I'm doing from trades, long-term investments, option moves I'm making, selling calls, buying calls, puts, whatever I'm doing, I'm posting real time on Patreon. So check it out, link down below. Make sure to also get your $30 from M1 Finance. That's free. And you could also get 2 stocks from Webull up to $1,600, also free. Those are linked down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching again. As always, keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there. Peace out.